You can have a fragrance that will last 8, 9, 10, 12 plus hours, you know, especially nowadays if you're looking in the right places, you can find a good amount that will get you into that range, and that's what a lot of people really look for. But when it comes to projection, that can be oftentimes even more fleeting than performance in terms of longevity. You know, sometimes a fragrance will start off really strong out of the gate. It'll have great projection. You think you'll be in the clear for hours, but then after about 1 or 2, maybe 3 hours, it tapers down to about a skin scent. And now you're left kind of frustrated because you're hoping to get some more out of it. Perfect example of that would be something like Chanel Allure Homme Sport Extreme. You guys may remember back in, I don't know, 2017, 2018, when that was really getting a ton of hype out of nowhere, and it was kind of known as the fragrance that will get you the most amount of compliments within 1 hour, because after that it drops off, that type of thing. So what I want to do today is go over 10 scents that will never stop projecting. And of course, that's, you know, obviously they're going to stop at some point, but they really kind of stop when the scent itself really wears off. A lot of these have great longevity as well, but with that, they also have a ton of projection, to where if you hit yourself with enough sprays and the conditions are right for the scent itself, you're going to go a long way. It's going to be pushing out for hours and hours. So I will provide links to these down below to discounters like always, and also check out my community tab where I'm posting deals over there all the time. Rare and discontinued stuff pops up. I post about it. You guys can get some great deals on some great stuff. Let's start off with Dolce & Gabbana The One Luminous Night. So this is one of the newer ones here, I believe the newest. It's an exclusive edition, but it's actually pretty easy to get for not a terrible price right now, which I do really like. And this has become one of my favorites out of the entire line. You wouldn't normally expect to see a Dolce & Gabbana scent in general, but especially The One in a video like this, but this one actually makes it. It's got great longevity, but more so great projection. Now this one has some smoky incense in here, a good dose of sandalwood, some amber, some dates in here, nice date accord, which kind of gives it a little bit of a sugary candied sweetness. Smells absolutely breathtaking. It's a stunning scent that deviates away from the original DNA a little bit, kind of giving you a little bit of a more warm, spicy approach in a different way. Great projection all around, great quality, and one you definitely need to have in your collection. Now, if you got a little bit more money to throw down, you could go for something like Parfums de Marly Herod. Tobacco and vanilla is what this one is all about. Some pepper in here as well. Warm, spicy, seductive, sweet. Smells great. One of the better tobacco fragrances out there that I've really gotten my nose on. There's a ton out there in general, but just in my collection and what I've smelled, this one always kind of stands above the rest because it really does have this true red pipe tobacco scent mixing with a nice sweet vanilla to give it a mass appealing standpoint here. And one thing's for sure, performance in general on this is fantastic, but projection also really pushes out well. It'll start off strong when you first spray it on, and it'll go through for hours and hours, and you really don't have to worry about it. You know, you might start to get a little bit nose blind to it because it's just constantly going to be assaulting your senses, and your kind of nose will start to tune that out a little bit. But trust me when I say it'll project for a very long time. Let's keep it moving with Al Haramain Amber Oud Ruby Edition. Did a review on this one recently. Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait Cologne. So this one has the almond accord that the EDP does not have. Saffron, of course, so it's the almond saffron. Very unique mixture here. Wow. I mean, it is so incredibly close to that DNA that honestly, this is one that I might actually have trouble discerning between the two if I were smelling them blindly. Like, I think I really would struggle with that. That's how close they are. And I can't say that about every clone out there. In fact, I can't say that about most clones out there. I can always kind of tell a difference. But this DNA here, they have it down to an art form, to a science with how close it is. And that's impressive. Even the performance, BR 540, both versions, they're great performers. And this one also will project and push out for hours on end, and it won't stop. Big olfactory fatigue causing scent here, so do be careful. Just because you might not smell it doesn't mean it's not going. Don't overspray it too awfully much unless you're wanting to do that to really turn some heads. But if you're in an environment where you want to be a little bit more subtle, then make sure you go relatively easy, but you're gonna have great results. Speaking of a scent, a couple ones before talking about red pipe tobacco, I couldn't do the video without putting this in, you know, MANCERA red tobacco. It's got tobacco, vanilla, oud, and wow. Smells breathtaking. I love this DNA. I think it's fantastic. You can usually get this one for around $100, $110 for 120 milliliters here. And so when you really look at where a lot of the market is right now, this is kind of designer priced. Upper level, high level designer fragrances at retail can be going for more than this, even some at discounters. Some of your Sauvages or your Diors and your Chanels and your YSLs could be going for at or around this price, sometimes a bit more. And you're not getting nowhere near the level of performance in those that you do in this. Longevity is off the wall. Projection is insane. Room filler like nobody's business. This is what you want if you want just one of the strongest fragrances out there on the more affordable side. That's going to turn a lot of heads. This stuff here smells amazing on skin. Ferragamo UOMO, the original. Now it has tonka bean, sweet notes, literally. It's what they classify it as. There's some cardamom in here and actually a little bit of ambroxan, kind of giving it a bright, fuzzy sparkle off the top. So again, it smells good on skin. It smells fantastic on skin. It smells great up in the air too, don't get me wrong. But this is one of those deals where maybe you're testing it on a tester strip. Maybe you're just spraying it up in the air and trying to evaluate it that way. It smells nice. It's very sweet. But you really pick up on these kind of chocolatey, sweet, caramely tiramisu accords when it's on your skin and settled in, and it smells so addicting and so sexy. 10 times better on skin. Some fragrances actually are kind of similar, whether it be on air or in the air, on paper, on skin, relatively similar, but this one takes a complete change when you get it settled in on your skin. So I highly encourage you, if you're testing this one out or just wearing it, to spray your skin. Do a couple sprays on your sweatshirt, that's fine, but make sure you're getting fragrance to skin contact for the best results. And it's got great projection. This one's a little bit more affordable, usually $45, $50 on discounters for 100 milliliters. It used to be a little bit more affordable. Price has gone up a little. Still, I think it's worth its weight in gold for the performance and just the overall use that you can get out of this one in the fall and winter time. Next up, everybody's favorite Versace Eros Flame. Really nice flanker. I think it's great. Focuses on orange here. So it's orange, vanilla, tonka bean, some other light citruses, like a little hint of lemon in here as well off the top. The orange is a nice creamy sweet orange, kind of giving it that fruitiness. So it's different because it's not using a ton of minty apple off the top like you may be used to. But what I like about this one in particular is that kind of changes it up, giving it a little bit more of a more refined approach, I guess is how I would put it. The original Eros is amazing. I love it. I love the new Parfum. But even for some people, it can just be a bit too much. This one kind of brings in some other accords, and they're doing it in a different way to where I think this actually can be a little bit more approachable and a little bit more versatile for a lot of guys out there. I think that it really shines in that department of versatility because depending on who you ask, the original Eros DNA isn't all that versatile. Some may think it is if they don't care, but if you're a little bit more specific about what fragrance you wear for what scenario and what time of year, I think this one will cover a lot more ground. It's got great projection, great longevity, and this really gets the job done for really not too bad of a price at all. Next up, I've talked about this one here recently a little bit. ISSEY MIYAKE NUIT. This is the Parfum version. Also comes in an EDT, but make sure for the purpose of this video, you're picking up the Parfum. It says it right there under NUIT ISSEY. Yep, had to make sure that's what it was. Completely backwards on the camera. So this one has vanilla and it's got leather and it smells incredible. I love vanilla fragrances, right? But this one is not like the other ones I've talked about, like for example, Mercedes-Benz Club Black, because the leather in here really sets this one apart. And this is going to be your more masculine vanilla scent, Club Black and some others like Carner Barcelona Elborn or just things of that nature aren't really too masculine, right? I think most of us can agree on that. And if you like masculine scents, but you want a relatively prominent vanilla one, the leather in here balancing that out, it makes it a great contender. It is a Parfum, but it also projects very, very well, surprisingly well. I believe on discounters, you're looking at about $60 for this, which really isn't too bad considering you get a ton of bang for your buck with that projection, with that performance overall, and even the uniqueness. There isn't really anything else out there that smells like that one, and I think that's pretty cool. Another situation here where I was putting the video together, and as soon as I thought of this video idea, this topic, this one came to mind. And that actually happened with a few of the ones in here. Red tobacco definitely came to mind immediately, and so did this next one. So I'm putting it in. It's Sauvage Elixir. You know, it's been in people's ears for quite some time, really ever since it first came out, and it's not really going away, right? They're riding a huge wave here with the name Sauvage, and when they put this out and people got their hands on it and they realized how powerful it is, then it really blew up even more. Now it's also available in a 100 milliliter bottle, which I think actually kind of helps this one out. Some people are kind of like myself, where you're a little bit weird about buying bottles that aren't, you know, more standard size, 100 mil. Even though this bottle size is really more than enough for most of you guys, and myself included, it's nice to have the 100 mils. And now you can get them in that size. Just kind of cool. This one has a bunch of notes like lavender, licorice, nutmeg, cinnamon, sandalwood, and I think there's one other spicier note, warm spicy note that I'm missing. It's not a cardamom, I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's just a pepper, but a ton of spicy notes, a ton of warm notes. This is a warm, spicy, masculine, mature, and upscale smelling scent. This smells like someone who is a boss or a CEO or someone in charge, someone with power. That's what this one is. And it is expensive. You are going to be paying for this one. Okay. That's one of the downsides. But with that price comes a lot of just perks, a lot of benefits, given that it's one of the stronger fragrances out there on the designer market right now, at least that are trending. I mean, this stuff is a powerhouse. It will project for hours. It will last for hours and hours, 12 plus. And I mean, you really are hard pressed to go wrong with Sauvage Elixir when you want projection. Blind buy depends on who you are. It's not like any of the other Sauvages, so do be careful with it. But if you're into something a little bit more mature, a little bit more perhaps classic, and a little bit more gentlemanly, believe it or not, a Sauvage, yeah, check this out. And we're going to go in the complete opposite direction of that one and go with Invictus Legend. So it has C notes, ambergris, ambroxan, amber, whatever you want to call it. Ambroxan though, for sure. And salty notes or sea salt. I can't remember what I said. C notes, ambroxan, and sea salt. There's some bay leaf in here as well. And it's Invictus DNA, but actually a little bit more tolerable to me. Not that the original is just, you know, something that completely burns my nose out. It doesn't. But if I had to choose between the original and Legend, I would actually choose Legend. This isn't my favorite flanker, but it's kind of one of the few still easy to get ones that I do really like. Invictus Victory is great. This one has better projection. Invictus Intense, great, but discontinued and getting harder to find. Of course, the Aquas are discontinued as well, so you can still get this one pretty much everywhere. And the projection of this one is fantastic, and longevity is also great. Last up, we'll finish it with another classy, more refined scent that kind of packs a punch. You know, it's one where you wouldn't expect it to project this good, but it actually really, really does. It's PASHA de Cartier Parfum, sandalwood liqueur. What else do we got? Some balsam fir, I believe. We're not getting any focus, I know that's for sure. And yeah, we're falling apart here. But it's a very, very gentlemanly, refined scent. Like I said, kind of in a similar vein to Elixir, Sauvage Elixir, but it doesn't smell the same. It's just, it kind of portrays the same message, the same image of just a successful guy who isn't really trying too hard. He's just showing up and he's doing the best he can at his job, and he's focused on that, and he wants a scent that will kind of accompany that, you know, something that also smells successful and rich and high end, and that's what this one does. Much more affordable than Sauvage Elixir, usually around $90, $100, sometimes maybe a bit less for a 100 ml bottle size, and it's got great performance all the way around, and the projection is also surprisingly good. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances that will never stop projecting, at least until, you know, they just wear off of your skin pretty much. Some of the best ones I got here. There's a lot more out there as well. Maybe I'll do a part 2 to this video and feature all different stuff at some point if you guys want to see that. I'll have to do some more shopping around probably as well, because I went through my collection here pretty good. I could probably find some other stuff, but I don't know if I'd be able to come up with another 10 yet. I don't know. Maybe I could. So I will link these all down below. Make sure you get subscribed so that way you can see some of the best deals on fragrances on my community tab. And I'm also giving away money over there. Just did a $500 giveaway. Gonna do another one probably towards the end of this month. So subscribe so you don't miss out. That's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.